guys, today I'm going to be ranking popular book talk books, specifically fantasy slash romantasy, actually, if we're being honest. So if you aren't coming from my book talk or my book stuff, which by the way, if you are coming from those, hi guys! Nice to see you. So if you don't know, I am a huge fantasy and romantasy buff. Like, that is my absolute favorite. Behind me, you can just see my regular romance shelves. All my fantasy and romantasy are to the right of me right now, and they are going to be emptied because I'm going to be going over all of my controversial opinions about all of the most popular series, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm very easily influenced. I have bought so many series just based on one person saying one time that they enjoyed it. I'm also very opinionated, so I'm very excited to get started. A lot of these series are unfinished right now, or I don't have all of the books, so like, don't hate me. Just to preface, opinions are just opinions. If mine are different, please don't hate me. Yeah, just please don't hate me. Okay, so I'm gonna go collect all of these. Can you hear my family? First book up for ranking is the Fourth Wing series. I have all three. I actually got Onyx Storm on release day and I was so pumped about it. I went all the way to the Mall of America. I don't know why. There are closer bookstores. Okay, here's the deal. This is one of the most recent series I've read, and whenever I finish a book, I'm always like, oh my god, that was the best book I've ever read in my entire life. I'm just gonna talk over them. They're very loud. We're all very loud. I'm usually louder than this, but I get kind of embarrassed when they catch me filming. Okay, so let's go through the series first. I ranked all of these 5 stars, which may sound like a lot, but I tend to rank a lot of things 5 stars. I'm gonna be very honest with you. It's kind of easy to sway me. I love romantasy, and I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for that and disagree with me, but here's the thing. I'm not saying the books are good. I'm not saying the books are good by any means. I'm saying I enjoyed them. And there's a difference between good writing and good storytelling. Also, maybe if you're bored by books, you're not using your imagination enough. Sorry. Okay, I read this on New Year's Eve, this on New Year's Day, and this on Onyx Storm release day. I love this series, so I think it's definitely gonna go high in the ranking. I thought it was interesting. It's not my favorite one I've ever read. I was definitely enraptured in it when I was reading it. I absolutely devoured the first 2 books. Like, I read them instantly. I was so upset when Onyx Storm wasn't released yet. I was actually devastated. Let me take a moment of appreciation for this. I just love it. Also, do you want to know what I literally just found out? They're continuous. If we're ranking them out of 10, because I don't have anything to go with, let's just say it's gonna be up. Okay, my next series is the Lightlark trilogy. Also, yes, this completely bothers me that these 2 are paperback and this is a hardcover. I read this one, really wasn't impressed with it. I didn't like it. I thought it was okay. I probably rated it a 4 or a 5, to be honest. If I enjoyed it for even one scene, I always rank it high because it's like, yeah, I did enjoy it. And I also know what it's like to write. I read this probably like a year ago, and then I just reread it because I bought this one. I liked this book a lot more. I read it in one day, absolutely devoured it, and then I was so upset when I finished it because it left off on a cliffhanger, and I was just devastated until I remembered that I bought this one at the same time. So I had this in my room, and when I tell you, I literally ran off my couch, like scared my mom and my dog, and sprinted to go get this one to start reading. Oh, look at my nails match it. I love that. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the second and third book. I love that it was a love triangle that I actually could not decide between. Like, I genuinely saw both sides of it, and I feel like that's really rare for me because usually I see one and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy right there. I really couldn't decide with this one because I loved them both, like, a lot. I also think it just had a lot of really good, like, twists and scenes, and I don't know, I loved it. I loved it. I really love love triangles just because I think they feed into my delusions a little bit, and I just like the idea of a bunch of people being in love with me. I don't know. Sorry, like, is that, I mean, don't we all? Like, I feel like everyone who's a reader, like, has to have a little bit of that in them. Like, let's be honest here. Like, who doesn't want multiple people being like, I'm okay, honestly, if there's someone else. I'm gonna keep fighting for you. Like, okay. In the ranking, though, I think I would put Fourth Wing above Light Lark. Fourth Wing Light Lark. I don't know. I really enjoyed Light Lark. And I'm gonna be honest, the more I'm talking about these things, the more I'm kind of forgetting everything that happens in books. Is that for you guys too? I feel like I have a very short-term memory. I love them right after I read them, and then like after a day max, I couldn't tell you what happened in the book. I know if I liked it, but I really couldn't tell you. And my reviews are no help because I can like put in some screenshots of my Goodreads reviews. There's no detail, just emotions, just a lot of cryptic details. That's my bad. Big one here. Also, yes, I know I'm holding these out of order. It is also bothering me, so sorry. And there is a missing book here because I lent it to a friend. I have 2 books currently out on loan. They've been out for a long time. This series, I can't even, number one, the hold that it had on my heart. I read these last summer. I will never get over them. And I know a reread is coming up. When I get that book back from my friend, I will be rereading. And I know it's gonna be just as devastating as last time. I read the whole series in a month, and I just don't think I can properly articulate. If you haven't read Throne of Glass, please read it. Please read it, please read it, please read it. And also, I will literally die on this hill. The proper way to read it is, I'm throwing things, Assassin's Blade first. I don't care. If you don't know, this is like a series of novellas that came out. Technically it was published after the first book. I don't care. This is a prequel. People who read it second make me so mad. People are like, oh, that's the right way. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Read it in chronological order. Like, what are you talking about? It actually made me so mad. Like, I low-key got like mad at my friend when she didn't listen to me. And when she read them in a different order, I was like, okay. I mean, just like the hold that this whole series, and just as it goes on, like it really takes your entire soul. This series, number 1, but we have more. So let's keep going. I already know which one is last. Also, I can literally make an updated one of these in like 3 months because I have so many series that I still need to read that I literally have in my physical TBR. Okay, this book, I can already say with certainty, is in my 10th spot. I'm so sorry to the Chloe Gong lovers. My mom is a Chloe Gong lover. So is my aunt. Like, they are like diehard fans. This is the only book that I genuinely was going to DNF. I did not think I could finish it. I was so incredibly bored, and I haven't attempted to read it again because usually I'm like, oh, maybe it was like my fault. Like, I was in a weird mood and that's why I didn't like it. I don't know. I could not get behind it. I didn't like it. It took me like 2 months, and that's really saying something because I finish a book every 2 or 3 days, and this took me forever when I read it. I think there's a second one. And I think we low-key have it in my basement library because if you also, like I said, if you're not coming from my BookTok or my Booksta, you wouldn't have seen it, but I have like a family library in my basement. It's me and my mom's pride and joy. All my books are up here besides like my preteen childhood books. And then like my mom's and my sister's are in the basement. But like my like books that I like make content on are all up here in my room because I actually have built-in bookcases and more bookcases. So I like to keep my books where I can see them. I like keeping them close to me. This book, no. And I don't like saying that books are bad books because I know that people really love it. I just could not get myself to love it. And I really tried. Maybe I'll try again one day, but like I can't get myself to because this is literally the only book that I can say that I did not enjoy. Maybe I'll try it again one day and maybe my mind will completely shift. But as of right now, I can just say, like the other 3, it's kind of up in the air. Like I know we have Throne of Glass, Fourth Wing Light Lark, but this one, 10th. So sorry to the Chloe Gong lovers. And you know what? I love her TikTok. I follow her, the author. I love her. I did not love the book. Oh, this one is big. These are also the only books that I have ever annotated. And if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know. Well, this series is so incredibly near and dear to my heart. These are the books that got me into reading. So a little backstory, I've always been a big reader, but I was not this level until 3 years ago. I was at camp with a girl. I had brought a book with me and I didn't want to read it. I did anyway, and I was like, oh, you know, maybe reading is kind of fun. It was a really short book. I think it's up there somewhere. Literally like 100 pages, like very, very short. It was made for like 10-year-olds, but I read it. It's like, okay, what now? Because I still had 2 more weeks on my phone, and this girl handed me this book she brought with her, and she said, I haven't read it yet, but I've heard it's good, like, try it. Life changed forever. She only had the first one. I came home, and the first thing I said to my parents, they hadn't seen me in multiple weeks, and I was like, we're buying this book series off Amazon immediately. Like, I don't care, like, I'll pay for it, whatever, like, we need it. I think they actually ended up paying for it though, so shout out mom and dad on that. Life changed, literally forever. Life altered. Fun fact though, on that big shopping spree, like I literally just spent like $200 on books, like on external release day, so I got like a lot of these then. The 3 novellas, I'm actually currently in a reread, or I was before my trip. I actually got back from Mexico yesterday, and I didn't bring these with me because they're too much of my prized possessions. I actually brought the Twisted series, which I've brought on vacation before, so they were already like water destroyed, which were my sister's fault, not mine. And so I brought them again because I don't even bring my books out of my room. Like, most of them just bring them to the couch. But I don't let them leave the house because I am very attached to them, and I hate when any sort of damage happens. Which is why the fact that I let 2 different people borrow books is so insane. Reading the novellas after I've read this series so many times, but reading the novellas along with it for the first time is so interesting. Like, I love it. It's like getting bonus scenes that I've never seen before. And also, if you don't reread books, okay, like, grow up low-key. Like, people are like, oh, I can't reread, I just can't do it. Why not? Is it just my short-term memory? Because I swear, like, I can reread a book and I forget stuff every time. I'm like, oh my god, like, it's like reading it for the new time, like, I forget. Because also, it's just like memories, like, you know, they get kind of hazy. It's like, you know what's happened, you know what's gonna happen. When you're reading it again, like, all the emotions come back with it, and I think that's so huge. So I'm actually currently in a reread right now. I'm on Ignite Me, which love. If you know me, you can see my bookmark in there, but love it. And I think because I am just so, I read it so many times, it's kind of starting to lose luster, and I hate to say that. I think I'm gonna put it above Fourth Wing just because this was such a critical life-altering series for me. This literally is like butterfly effect thing that started it all, is this series, and I think I'd be doing everyone a disservice if I put it anywhere less than second, right? It's being beat only by Throne of Glass. And I'm sure if this series was as long as Throne of Glass, it would probably be up there, behind Throne of Glass, before Fourth Wing. Okay, this is the second book that I have lent out right now. Powerless lent out, but I do have the novella Powerful and Reckless, and I believe Fearless is actually coming out really, really soon, so I'll probably get that one. I know there's a lot of controversy with Lauren Roberts. I love the book. I don't, like, sorry, I haven't actually read Red Queen. I have it in the basement, so I will probably read that. And I know everyone's like, oh, it's a Hunger Games knockoff, it's a Red Queen knockoff. I enjoyed it, but I love fan fiction, things like that. It did kind of feel like reading fan fiction, but that's probably why I loved it. Like, Wattpad and AO3 were my roots, so maybe that's why I am the way I am, but no, not really that this way. But when I first read Powerless, again, I devoured it. I loved it. I made my mom read it. I liked Reckless, not as much as I liked Powerless, I think. It did, however, leave on a crazy cliffhanger, so I would like to get back to that. Powerful, however, again, I read it in a day because it's very short. It's little, it's a novella, it's cute. I cried. I was not okay. I could probably do a reread once I have it back. It's weird that I never want to reread books until I lend them out, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, well, I want it back because I want to read it. But I needed Powerless to read, because I don't just reread in the middle of a series. I have to go back. I have to start from the beginning and read the whole thing again, and I don't know if that's weird, but it's the way that I have to do it. Sobbed. Emotionally unwell. It was interesting, but I liked the first one more. It doesn't beat Throne of Glass or Shadow Me, I know that. Does Fourth Wing beat it? This one or Light Lark? I think I'm gonna vote the Powerless series over Light Lark. Powerless and Powerful really carried it. Fun story, in 8th grade, this book was sitting underneath my desk. I remember the boys in my Spanish class pulled it up and they were like, oh, what's this? And for some reason I was mortified that I was reading a book and that someone was acknowledging that I was reading a book. And the name, These Violent Delights, I was like, that sounds kinky. And I was so panicked. I was so panicked. And I remember being mortified about that for weeks. And I they just picked up and they were reading it while I walked by. And I don't know why, but that actually traumatized me as a kid. I was like, great. What? Now people know I read? Huh? Low-key, that's how I feel about this though. Because first BookTube post, this is crazy work. I've been making YouTube videos for as long as my entire life. And I just post them privately and send the links to my friends, and they watch them and they love them. And they've been telling me to just like post it. So I guess I will be. So if you're from my school and you're seeing this, I actually don't really care. Hi. People don't really see this like side of me at school. People assume a lot of things about me. Like I kid you. Okay, I'm not even gonna get into it. I was gonna go on this whole long. That's not important. Point is opposite. So the more you know, I guess. Don't judge a book by its cover. Okay, I'm done now. Wait, I take it back. I actually did annotate this one. My sister read it and it got wrecked. That's the moral of the story. I let my sister borrow things, or borrow books, and they come back destroyed. I've taken away her privileges. ACOTAR. People have very mixed reviews on this. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I know there's also a lot of controversy with Sarah J. Maas. I bought these books before the controversy. I love them. I love them so much. I have the Crescent City series also. I have the first one. I haven't read it yet. I'm kind of putting it off, to be honest, but I love this series. This was one of the first like fantasy series that I read because I bought it like right after I read Shatter Me. Life was transformed, let me tell you. I was never the same. I read most of these in one weekend. Like I just did not leave my room. You could not pull me from these books. And I've read them a lot of times since then. So much love for these characters and this story and all of it. And like, oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. I'm putting it top 3 for sure. Just a battle on if this is going before Shatter Me or not. As much as I love Shatter Me, I feel like I might have messed my own self over by reading it and rereading it so many times over. I love Aaron Warner, don't get me wrong. He's always gonna be top tier, but I think I'm gonna have to put this above it. Throne of Glass took my heart, my soul. I thought nothing in the world would ever beat ACOTAR, and then I read Throne of Glass. I bought the book, and then I immediately was like, nope, give me the next one. Fun fact, I read this literally on my friend's floor at a sleepover. Shout out Taylor. I genuinely could not stop reading this book. It was so bad. Like I brought it, I was so obsessed. I was so obsessed. Well, I had my dad buy it actually. And then he taught me the whole series. So now I have a replica of the first one I have 2, which is like a first. Like that's the only book series that I have, or the only book that I have 2 of. So that was an overreaction. I have a weird emotional attachment to them, not just like the series, but like the physical book itself. So that for anyone else, like if I buy a new one, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not my book anymore. Like it's something else. I'm like, okay, like that's not my book. It's the same book, but it's not the same book. Maybe that makes me actually insane. The Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After. Have I read this? Yes, I have. Okay. I read this one like a year ago, and I just bought this one again on my Onyx Storm shopping spree day. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was interesting. I didn't love it as much as everyone else in the world loved it. I thought it was an interesting concept, but it was a little bit too much for me. Does that make sense? Like, I know people love the like confusing, twisty way that the books are like written, if that makes sense, or the way that like everything is so magical, but it was almost like too magical for me, which sounds so stupid to say for a fantasy book. Ballad of Never After. I like this one too. I think this one might have been better than the first one. The ending really shocked me on this, of the second one. There's a third one. I don't have it yet, but I will be buying it. So I liked it. I wouldn't say it's the absolute best thing I've ever written. Now, okay, I think this might go somewhere around Light Lark. There's a diehard fandom for this, and I feel like people are gonna be actually like mad at me. Sorry. Caraval. Am I saying that right? Caraval? I don't know actually how I'm supposed to be saying it. This is the same author, Stephanie Garber. Again, it's that same, like, it's literally almost too fantasy for me, which sounds so stupid. I'm gonna have to give this one another shot, because when I read it last year, I was in like one of the worst time periods of my life. Like I was just like and I was like reading it to like this one specific book on like literally like one of the worst days of my life, and like I was reading it to like escape that like moment. And so I like wasn't even processing what was going on in the book. So I really need to give it another shot, because I low-key have no memory of what happens in this book, because I was just like zoned out and just like skimming. Like, do you guys ever do that? Like you realize you weren't actually reading, but that was me with the whole book, because I just had Like, it was just such a bad situation. And I was just like, I need to, like, escape it. But, so I feel like I need to give this one another shot. But, I mean, I just wasn't that big of a fan. I think it's going right before These Violent Delights, but after Ballad of Never After. I'm so sorry, Stephanie Garber fans. Please don't kill me, because you guys are vicious, low-key. Okay, and then this is the very last one for the ranking. This one is gonna be controversial. Very controversial, actually. The Cruel Prince series. So I only have the trilogy. I know there's more. I didn't buy them because I didn't really like them. People, like, will die for this book. I will not. This book is like, it's okay. I didn't love it. I thought, like, and everyone's also in love with the male main character. I am not. I thought he was, like, just I just could not get into this book. Like, I just think it felt, like, rushed. I didn't like the world building, and everyone's always, like, talking about also, like, the main character, like, Jude. They're, like, oh, like, they're always comparing her to, like, Aelin and, like, all these, like, crazy powerful people. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this random odd girl. And they're like, no, like, she's such a killer. And there's always, like, all her fan art is her surrounded by, like, blood. And I'm like, are you guys serious right now? This, like, 19, like, no. Get out of here. Get out of here. I liked it better than Caraval. I really don't know. I'm supposed to be saying that. I think I liked it better than Ballad of Never After. No. Low-key, I'm putting Ballad Never After in front of it. So it's going after Ballad of Never After, before Caraval. And I say as I move the whole camera. Okay, so out of those 10 series, that I would say are arguably the most popular 10 series on Book Talk. So here is the final ranking. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas at number 1. I think I saw that coming. That was very easy. ACOTAR, or A Court of Thorns and Roses, by Sarah J. Maas, number 2. A very close third is the Shadow Me series by Tarea Mafi. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. 4th is Fourth Wing. By Rebecca Garros. 5th is the Powerless trilogy. I don't know if I can count it a trilogy if there's one of them is a novella, but there is a third one coming out, so it's fine. The Powerless series. 6 is the Light Lurk series. 7, Ballad of Never After. 8, the Cruel Prince series. 9 is Caraval, and 10 is These Violent Delights. I would say those are arguably the 10 most popular, or 10 of the most popular fantasy, romantasy series on Book Talk. And those are my rankings. So if you're not already, make sure you follow my Book Talk and my Booksta, which are right here. Don't forget to subscribe if you like reading, writing, student life, study tips, lifestyle, all that type of stuff. Really, I'm just posting this for myself and for my little community that I have built on Book Talk and Booksta. I will see you guys next Tuesday with a video. I believe it's going to be a birthday vlog because I am turning 16. Get lit. I'm so excited for that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials. Bye.